Who really created McDonald's? If you said Ray Kroc, you're wrong. Two brothers in California invented everything: the assembly line system, the 15-second burger, the golden arches. Ray Kroc was just a milkshake salesman who convinced them to let him franchise their idea. Then he bought them out for $2.7 million, promised them royalties forever, and never paid a cent. Those royalties would be worth billions today. The brothers died broke. Ray Kroc died a billionaire. This is the true story of how McDonald's was stolen. Let's start with the real founders, Richard and Maurice McDonald, Dick and Mac. Two brothers from New Hampshire who moved to California in the 1930s looking for opportunity. In 1940, they opened their first restaurant in San Bernardino. It was a drive-in barbecue joint, just like every other restaurant at the time. Servers on roller skates, a huge menu, slow service. They were making decent money, but nothing special. Then in 1948, the brothers had an idea that would change everything. They shut down the restaurant for 3 months and completely redesigned it. They called it the Speedy Service System. Here's what they did: they cut the menu down to just 9 items: burgers, fries, and shakes. They set up an assembly line in the kitchen, just like Henry Ford did with cars. One person grilled the burgers, another added the condiments, another wrapped them up. Every burger was identical. Every order took 15 seconds. And the price? 15 cents for a hamburger. At a time when other restaurants were charging 30 to 50 cents, the McDonald brothers were undercutting everyone. The result? Lines out the door. Families loved it. Fast, cheap, consistent. By 1954, they were making $350,000 a year, about $4 million in today's money. They had started franchising and opened 9 locations across California and Arizona. The brothers were happy. They had a good thing going. They weren't trying to conquer the world. They just wanted a comfortable life. That was their mistake. In 1954, a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc heard about a restaurant in California that had ordered 8 of his multi-mixers. Most restaurants ordered 1, maybe 2. 8 was unheard of. Ray had to see this place for himself. When he arrived at the McDonald brothers restaurant in San Bernardino, he couldn't believe what he saw. It was noon, and there were lines of people waiting for food. But they weren't waiting long. 15 seconds per burger, just like the brothers promised. Families eating in their cars, workers grabbing lunch, everyone happy. Ray Kroc stood there watching, and he saw something the brothers didn't see: a gold mine. The McDonald brothers saw a successful local business. Ray Kroc saw thousands of locations across America. He immediately pitched them, "Let me take this national. Let me open McDonald's franchises in every city, every state." The brothers were hesitant. They'd tried franchising before and didn't like the hassle. But Ray was persistent. He wore them down. In 1955, they made a deal. Ray would handle all the franchising. The brothers would get 1.9% of gross sales from every location. Ray opened his first franchised McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois. And he was obsessed. He worked day and night, micromanaging every detail, pushing franchisees to follow the system exactly. But there was a problem. The franchise fees Ray was charging barely covered his costs. He was working himself to death and barely making money. Meanwhile, the McDonald brothers were sitting in California collecting checks without lifting a finger. Ray resented it. He wanted control. He wanted to make changes, move faster, expand aggressively. But every decision had to go through the brothers, and they moved slow. They were cautious. They were comfortable. Ray Kroc was not comfortable. He wanted an empire. And the brothers were in his way. By the early 1960s, Ray was done with the partnership. He needed full control. The brothers were tired too. They wanted to retire, relax, enjoy their success. So in 1961, they started talking about a buyout. Ray offered them $2.7 million. In today's money, that's around $27 million. To the brothers, it sounded like a fortune. They'd be set for life. So they accepted, but here's what they gave up: all rights to the McDonald's name, the system, the restaurants, everything. They even had to give up the original San Bernardino location, the one they built. Ray made them rename it. It closed a few years later, but the worst part? The handshake deal. Ray Kroc had promised the brothers 1% of annual royalties. Forever. If he'd honored that promise, the brothers would have made over $100 million a year by the 1970s. Today, that 1% would be worth billions. But Ray never put it in writing. And once the deal was signed, he never paid them a cent. When someone asked Ray Kroc about it years later, he shrugged it off. He said business is war. And in war, You do what you have to do to win. Ray Kroc won. The McDonald brothers lost. And Ray built his empire. From 1961 to the 1970s, Ray Kroc opened thousands of McDonald's locations. He standardized everything: the buildings, the uniforms, the training. He even created Hamburger University to train franchisees. He poured money into marketing. The golden arches became one of the most recognizable symbols on the planet. By the time Ray Kroc died in 1984, McDonald's was worth $8 billion. Today, it's worth over $200 billion. There are more than 40,000 locations in over 100 countries. McDonald's serves 70 million people every single day. And the McDonald brothers? Dick McDonald died in 1971. Maurice McDonald died in 1998. Neither of them ever saw another dollar from the company they created. Their original restaurant was torn down. For decades, most people didn't even know their name. So who really built McDonald's? The truth is complicated. The McDonald brothers invented the system. They created the assembly line kitchen, the limited menu, the 15-second service. Without them, there is no McDonald's. But Ray Kroc saw what they couldn't, or wouldn't, see, that this idea could go global. He had the vision, the drive, and the ruthlessness to turn a single restaurant into the biggest fast food chain in the world. But here's what can't be ignored: Ray Kroc made a promise and broke it. The brothers trusted him. They shook his hand. And he cut them out of billions of dollars. Was that smart business? Sure. Was it legal? Technically, yes. But was it right? That's for you to decide. Today, McDonald's is everywhere. It's shaped how we eat, how we think about food, how restaurants operate. Ray Kroc changed the world. But he did it by taking someone else's idea and making sure they never saw the rewards. $2.7 million versus $200 billion. That's the gap between what the McDonald brothers received and what their company became. One handshake. One broken promise. One of the most profitable betrayals in business history. From a handshake deal to a $200 billion empire, the McDonald brothers built it. Ray Kroc took it. And that's the story of how McDonald's became the biggest restaurant chain in the world. If you want to see more stories like this, how empires were built, stolen, and fought over, check out these videos.